Well, hey church, we are here at the building in the middle of the week, and what I want to do is I want to give you an update about what Phase 3 is going to look like specifically for our in-person worship gatherings over the summer. So this room that we're in right here, the auditorium, can seat right around 350 people. Over the past 6 weeks, our in-person average for our services is just over 200. And that's split between two services, with the largest service we've had over the last 6 weeks is 126. So I know that's a lot of numbers coming at you, but basically what it means is our seating capacity for this room has really been right around 30%. But what you're going to need to know is on June 13th, so mark your calendars, that marks the beginning of Phase 3. And what that means is this room right here is going to be full of scaffolding, and we're going to be clearing everything out of this room, and we're actually going to be meeting in the lobby for our Sunday services. So let's go ahead and go over to the lobby so you can imagine what to expect. All right, so we are here in the lobby, and you can tell it's a little bit of a mess right now. These are all the things we still need to move and figure out what to do with, and we are going to be clearing out this room. But over the summer, what we're going to do is this room is essentially going to be absolutely full of seating. We estimate that we can fit right around 150 chairs in this room. So what that means is that 30% seating capacity is going to look a lot more like 80% seating capacity. And I know after a year of social distancing, being in a room that is even more than 50% full will feel very tight and very cozy for a lot of people. So we wanted to just give you a heads up on what to expect there. We have these beautiful arches up here, which at one point were open. That was balcony seating. And our plan is actually hopefully to make those glass walls and still use those as classrooms. But over the summer, we're in discussion right now about hopefully at some point when we have them open to be able to build a handrail and maybe even increase our seating capacity for our summer worship gatherings in this room. But just to give you a heads up, this room is essentially going to be full of chairs, and right over here is where we're going to have our stage. So I'm going to preach from this stage. We're going to have a TV mounted on the wall, and this is where all of our musicians are going to be. One of the concerns people might have just has to do with air conditioning. We are exploring air conditioning options. Essentially, we need to have it engineered by a mechanical engineer and get it configured specifically to this building. So that's a little ways out. But we have these big swamp coolers. We're getting them serviced and looked at. We're willing to purchase additional portable units or maybe even rent industrial units over the summer. So just so you're aware, we are working on trying to make sure this room is as comfortable as possible when it comes to the temperature. One of the other cool things that we're doing is this is where we have had our cafe on Sundays, and we're going to need all the square footage we can get for this room. So let me take you outside for our outdoor lobby and cafe over the summer. All right, so this is basically where we're going to serve coffee and set up our lobby over the summer. And one of the things this is going to allow us to do is it's going to allow us to, in between, before and after services, instead of congregating in that room, because it's going to be pretty packed in there, people can come outside and they can hang out on the sidewalk and they can chat. If it's raining, we can set up a canopy out here, that sort of thing. And that'll allow us to free up space inside, but what it'll also do is it'll actually allow us to have a little bit more of a presence for people passing by and to be able to say hi and maybe even meet people in the neighborhood. Another thing that the summer is going to mean is it's going to mean some changes in our family ministry classes. So let's go downstairs and I'll tell you a little bit more about what to expect for family ministry over the summer. All right, so we are down in the basement. This is where we have all of our kids' classes currently. And good news for you, if you have little kids, these rooms, the nursery over here, the toddler and the pre-K room, there will be no changes to those spaces. So those spaces are fully finished, they're complete. We're just doing finishing touches with decorations and that sort of thing. But essentially those rooms are good to go. Now, what you'll need to know if you have elementary or youth students is this room behind me, the elementary room, is actually where the youth and the elementary have been meeting. And this room, the reason why we haven't finished the ceiling in this room and doing the sheetrock is because we're going to be putting over 40,000 pounds of scaffolding in the auditorium. And because it's an open space in the basement, we're actually going to need to do significant amount of shoring posts in the elementary room because it's directly below the auditorium. So what that means is this room is going to be closed until the scaffolding is gone. So what that means for youth is, first of all, if you have a youth student, we're actually going to have the youth students be meeting at the same place we're doing park days at Memorial Park. It's just half a mile away. Youth students are still going to gather here at the church building, and they're going to leave from the office area. And if there's enough leaders to carpool, then they can carpool over and they'll meet outside at the park. Or if there aren't enough leaders to drive, then they can walk over, and it's about a 10-minute walk over to the park. The good news for you is if you have a student and you plan on going to park days, youth are going to meet at the 11 a.m. service this summer. So what that means is, as a family, you can just head on over to the park after second service and your student will be there. If you aren't planning on going to park day, we are still asking parents to pick up your student from Memorial Park. That way we can just make sure that everyone gets dropped off here at the church at the same place and picked up at Memorial Park at the same place. It's awesome because the youth are actually going to be doing a little bit more of a small group discussion-based program through the summer. So if your youth student wanted to even attend the 9:15 service, they're going to be listening to a sermon from the book of Ephesians, and then they'll be able to go to their small group lesson, which will also be out of that same Bible text from Ephesians. You might be wondering, what is our plan for elementary students? Because that has been a class that has just been growing more and more. Well, we are actually extremely excited to be partnering with Boise High School, and they're going to be letting us use 2 of their classrooms. Let's go ahead and walk over to Boise High so that you can see what to expect. All right, so we are here, and this is actually the entrance to where the 2 classrooms are. They're just down this hallway. We won't go in there right now because there's school in session, but those are the 2 classrooms that Boise High has been gracious enough to let us use for our elementary class for the summer. So elementary is still going to be meeting at the 11 a.m. service throughout the summer. We have this awesome area over here, and we're going to make sure we know that it's a little bit away from the church building, but just look. It's just a short walk through the alley. There's no crossing streets. It's just over here. If you have an elementary school student and you park in the parking lot that Boise High lets us use on Sundays, you can park here, and we're going to set up a second kid check station. So what that means is you can check in your elementary student here, and then if you have a little kid, you can check them in downstairs in the basement like usual. What we're going to make sure to do is we're going to make sure that we have a good amount of leaders and ratio so that kids aren't running around or getting out where they're supposed to be. And we also are hoping to have our kids director on staff at that time so that we can always have one of our staff members over here. We're going to be able to have either Andrew, our family pastor, or our kids director on site with the elementary class at the school, and we'll also be able to have our regular leaders and volunteers in the basement. So that's just a little bit about what to expect for our classes, our seating capacity, our air conditioning, our lobby, all of that sort of stuff. Like I said, a ton of moving pieces for the summer. Here's what I would say to you. These are our solutions to just really this temporary season. It's only going to be a short handful of months that we're going to be in this transitional season. And I totally understand if these are too many things for you to deal with over the summer, whether it's the close quarters and the seating capacity or having kids in different areas on a Sunday. I totally understand if you and your family decide to just watch online over the summer. We're expecting that people go on vacations, and so maybe our numbers will go down a little bit over the summer, and we can use that to our advantage. But for you not to feel bad about maybe you've just started coming back and you would say, I'm not comfortable with the solutions for all these kind of temporary fixes, that you would say, well, maybe until we're back in the auditorium, you are more than welcome to attend online. Our Hill City Online is going to be available every single Sunday, 9 a.m. right there on our website or on our YouTube page. And we would invite you to still be connected with us even if you aren't attending in person over the summer. One thing I just want to help us remember is that these fixes, these solutions really are temporary, and to keep the end in mind of, the things that we're doing now, which might be uncomfortable with the renovation and only having so many rooms available, are really going to pay dividends for decades to come. So just think about how nice that's going to be when we're back in the auditorium. How nice it's going to be to have the sheetrock on the ceiling of the elementary class and to have all of these rooms fully completed. We truly believe God is going to use this season right now that we're putting in a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of money even into the building to use this as a tool for the gospel to go out for generations to come. So that's what you can expect for the summer.